Alright, what's up guys? We're in my garage. There's some lawn people down the street. I hope it's not too noisy in the video. But I'm not going to actually fish this weekend. I'm going to clean up the mess that is the other side of my garage you can't see. But I wanted to do a video of some kind, and I just got something in the mail that I'm going to use for a crappie trip we have coming up in March at Toledo Bend. And then I'm going to talk about some of my other ultralights that I fish with. And yeah, that'll be it. And we'll go from there. So bear with me and let me move this camera around and try and keep all this mess in my garage out of view. But yeah, should be a good video. Nice and short. So this is what my new package came in. Go ahead and pop it open. I don't know if any of y'all have experience with this. I haven't done a whole lot of crappie fishing. I've done a little bit, and most of what I have done has been on... Oh, there goes the reel. That can't be good. But most of what I have done has been with ultralights or just light action rods and reels or fly rods. Love fly fishing. I'm terrible at it, but I'll be doing some videos on that in the future. So, what I have here is a Lew's Wally Marshall Professional 10-foot jig pole. Read some good reviews on this. You know, of course, I've seen Wally Marshall fish with it on TV, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I've never jig fished for crappie. So, it looks fun. Thought I'd give it a try. Bought it brand new off of eBay. If I can get the plastic wrap off. So it's a 2-piece 10-foot rod. Bear with me while I get this crap off of it. 2-piece 10-foot rod, medium light, and it's a moderate fast action jig pole. Really should be able to kind of reach up into the brush and the stumps and different things. We'll be fishing in Toledo Bend with this. I don't know, it just looks fun. I've seen people fish jig poles before. I've never done it and thought it looks like a blast. Let's give it a shot. I'll get some video footage, either me succeeding or me failing. And with it, I went ahead and picked up the Mr. Crappie Solo jig reel. It's almost like a little mini fly reel. It came with pre-spooled with whatever line this is, Mr. Crappie something or other. And you know, from what I've seen, people mostly fish this like a cane pole, and so the reel is just really there to hold extra line if it's needed. And they'll let out 10 feet or so of line and pitch it out there, and just pull straight up and bring the fish to them if they happen to hook into one. So I'll probably honestly just leave the line on here because I don't feel like changing it out. So pretty excited to try this out. Again, it's going to be a new method of fishing to me. I've never really jigged them. How I have caught crappie in the past is, of course, live minnows fished under a bobber, with a drop shot or split shot or something like that. But and I'll make some videos of this other type of fishing, this other place I like to fish, but I am obsessed with catching monster brim, sunfish, bluegill, red ears, whatever you want to call them. And what I usually use for that, I have this 6-foot Temple Fork Outfitters ultralight, and it's just got a Fluger reel. I think this is the Tryon, with usually about 6-pound test. And one of my favorite baits for big brim is the Berkley Gulp Series 1-inch baits, the panfish baits. Fish on a drop shot or just a split shot or under a bobber or a slip cork or something like that, and they just kind of work it around brush or stumps, or when they're bedding you can throw it over their beds. And I'll include a picture here in this video. You can see that one of the big ones I've caught before. But I know they'll work great for crappie, and we'll be throwing road runners. I think it's a 16th ounce road runner jig head and chartreuse, and the color that worked last year when my dad went on the trip was a chartreuse road runner jig head with a black curl-tail grub, with a chartreuse tail. So that's what we'll be throwing, some of that. Again, this is Temple Fork Outfitters 6-foot ultralight. My other rod that I use a lot for pond fishing around where I live is a 7-foot 2-piece St. Croix Premier ultralight, and I have a Shimano Sahara 500 series, and I actually wanted to go ahead and try braid on it. So I have a little bit of mono, and then I have a 10-pound test braid. I think it's Power Pro, and then I'm going to put some like 8-pound fluorocarbon top shot on it. And I love this rod. You know, they do this rainbow trout releases here around town in the winter, and it's very whippy. I mean, it's great for throwing really, really light panfish sized baits. It handles bigger fish. I've caught a few small bass, and like I said, the big bluegill and red ears and sunfish. I call them brim, whatever you want to call them. And can't go wrong with Shimano reels. That's just kind of my go-to reel. And then I don't know what I'm gonna throw on this yet. I have some jigs I bought, little crappie jigs, marabou jigs. You know, they won't have a spinner. I have some jigs. I'll be, you know, jigging with the jig pole apparently, or obviously, but I don't know what I'm gonna throw on this yet. We'll see. You know, the trip's not until March. I'm kind of OCD and like to prepare ahead of time. And then my wife, she doesn't fish much, but she just has this lady light. You know, for the ladies, it's pink because that matters. This Bass Pro Shop Lady Light, I think it's 6 foot. It might only be 5.5. Ultralight spinning combo. She's had it for a few years. I've already got her rigged up with the 1/16 ounce Road Runner with the black and chartreuse curl-tail grub. My son will not be, he'll be a little older than 2.5 by the when we go on the trip, and I plan to at least take him out on the boat with us and see if I can get him to catch a fish. I might let him use the jig rod or even just a cane pole. I want something long to keep the hook away from him. But I'll probably take him out in the Ginu, or my, you know, we're going to take my dad's shoalwater as well. There's going to be a big group of us, so it'll be good to have 2 boats. And I do plan on bass fishing a little bit since I'm at Toledo Bend. This is just kind of one of my, I don't want to say junker, it's still in really good shape. This is an older All-Star, when they used to make them in Houston. You know, it's a 7 foot, I'd say it's about a medium wide action rod. And I have a Shimano Sitka 200D with some 30-pound Power Pro and some like 17-pound fluorocarbon leader. And I have another of the exact same combos that I'll probably take with me, and I'll rig one up for jigs or whatever, another one up for worms or spinnerbaits or something. And you know, if I'm lucky, catch big bass. I've always wanted to catch a 10-pound bass. I think 7's the biggest bass I've ever caught in my life. And then I'm going to do another video on some of my fly fishing gear, which will also be going with me. I'm a terrible fly fisherman. I got into fly fishing to catch redfish, which I still haven't done because I suck at it. But I'm actually decent at catching pond bass on the fly rod. And then I got hooked on this 2-weight ultralight fly rod and the brim, and I'll get into that in another video. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much going to be my setup for this trip coming up in March. It's going to be a good time. Like I said, I've never done a whole lot of crappie fishing. I have caught crappie. I've even caught some nice crappie. But the majority of it has been on live bait and, you know, kind of vertical fishing a minnow around a pier, or, you know, or a stump or something like that. So I'm looking forward to this. If you have any crappie tips that I need to look into for springtime, you know, leave me a comment or something like that. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody watching the channel. Stay tuned, and I'll have some more content up as soon as I can. Thanks.